Hi, my name is Matthias Neuburger. I'm a musician and computer scientist, and I'd like to share with you my thoughts and ideas about the free use of the just scale. Free in the sense that the just intervals used in it result solely from integer ratios of their frequencies and do not mean only minor corrections of tempered intervals. The latter is the case, for example, when a composition is created at the piano and then performed a cappella by a choir. The singers would try to intonate intervals such as the fourth or fifth in just intonation, unlike on the piano that offers only the use of the equally tempered tuning. So, how would music in just temperament sound like if it was not composed on the piano but was created strictly on a numerical basis by taking only integer ratios of the involved frequencies, as if the equal temperament had never existed? We would not only hear fourths and fifths, or major thirds and sixths in just intonation, but also intervals that are difficult to name because there is no equivalent for them on the piano. That is, no similar variant of a tempered interval, but still they would be sounds with a high degree of consonance. Let us first compare the well-known intervals, the major triad and the dominant seventh chord in equal and just temperament. To do this, I use the software Pianoteq by Modart. Pianoteq combines the two characteristics of an absolutely high-quality piano sound and the possibility to produce these sounds in any frequency, as the division of the octave can be determined freely by user-defined scales. To play the mentioned sounds in just temperament, I have defined a scale that can do this. Pianoteq shows here the deviation from the tones of the equal temperament, downwards in orange and upwards in green. In the following examples, listen first to the equally tempered sound and then to the corresponding interval in just temperament. If we assume a just temperament that, regardless of the references to the equally tempered tuning, is based solely on the integer ratios of the frequencies, there is nothing to prevent us from making use, for example, of the interval 8 to 11, which is somewhere between a perfect fourth and an augmented fourth. There are a number of intervals on the just scale that have little to do with intervals of tempered tuning. Listen to some of them. I would now like to show you how the authentic cadence subdominant-dominant tonic is related to the numerical ratios of the just temperament, and then, starting from this, how we can break away from the major tonality and expand the harmonic spectrum. Let us first look at only the major triads of the authentic cadence. In C, that would be C major, F major, G major, and then back to C major. This chord progression using the common chords in equal temperament sounds as follows. Usually, you would use chord inversions rather than simply move the common chords and place them next to each other. But in this example, I would like to preserve the spacing between the chord notes first. In just temperament, the frequencies of the major triad are in ratio of 4 to 5 to 6. The distance between the chord roots of the cadence is a fourth, so the frequencies are in a ratio of 3 to 4. For the cadence in just temperament, I add the 7th harmonic. The 8th harmonic would be the octave to the lowest note of the chord and wouldn't be a harmonic gain, so I do not use it. The added 7th harmonic, unlike in tempered tuning, does not create any tension nor has to resolve somewhere. Listen to the cadence with common chords and the added 7th harmonic in just temperament. So for the chord distance, we have a numerical ratio 3 to 4, and for the distance of the chord tones, we have the ratio 4 to 5 to 6 to 7. So why not increase these numbers by 1? Then we would have a distance between the chord roots of 4 to 5, a just major third, and chords with the harmonics 5, 6, 7, and 8. Let us add the 9th harmonic here as well, before we would reach the octave to the lowest chord note with the 10th harmonic. Let's increase the number again by 1. Then we have a distance between the chord root of 5 to 6, a just minor third, and chords with the harmonics 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. If we continue the harmonic series again up to the note before the octave to the lowest chord note is reached. Let us now move away from the mere shifting of common chords and use chord inversions instead to keep the chord notes within an octave, as you would normally do. For this, I choose a higher octave and add the chord root as a bass note below. Listen first to the cadence in just temperament with the harmonics 4, 5, 6, and 7 and distance 3 to 4. Let us now also inverse the chords of the other cadences. First, the one with harmonics 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and the distance of 4 to 5, and use as a bass note the lowest note of the common chords, that is here the 5th harmonic. And now the cadence with the harmonics 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 in distance 5 to 6, and as bass note the 6th harmonic. If we combine the previous distance intervals 3 to 4, 4 to 5 and 5 to 6 in one direction, we end up exactly at the octave. Let's do that and also mix the chords accordingly and use the one with the harmonics 4, 5, 6 and 7 at the beginning, the chord with the harmonics 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 after the 3 to 4 jump, and the 6-note chord with the harmonics 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11 after the 4 to 5 jump, in order to increase the tension from chord to chord before we return to the initial chord after the 5 to 6 jump and release the tension. Listen to this mixed cadence in just temperament with chord inversions and an added bass note. As a material for melody formation in just intonation, we should go up the harmonic scale so that we can speak of steps rather than jumps. We could say that this is the case about the 8th harmonic upwards. Defining the tonal center there also makes sense because it is the repetition of the first harmonic 3 octaves above. The scale of the harmonics 8 to 16 reminds us partially of the tempered major scale. Due to the fact that the intervals become smaller to the top, however, the just scale contains one step more than the tempered major scale before the octave is reached. Let us listen to these two scales and compare them. First, the tempered scale, followed by the just scale. The scale of harmonics 16 to 32 is more reminiscent of the tempered chromatic scale. Well, the notes of both scales are equally spaced in different ways. The next semitone in the tempered chromatic scale is obtained by multiplying always the same factor, whereas the next tone in the just scale is obtained by adding always the same summand. Let us listen to these two scales. First, the tempered chromatic scale with 12 steps, and then the scale of harmonics 16 to 32 with 16 steps. Let's play a little with these just scales, reusing the mentioned cadences. Of course, just temperament is nothing new. On the contrary, it is the oldest tuning ever. But there are only a few compositions in strict just intonation, which is probably due to the fact that modulation through the keys is difficult to realize. Pianoteq offers this possibility in a world of professional piano sounds. Thank you for your attention.